Is Costa Rica expensive? Well, I guess it's all comparable to where you live and where you're coming from. Compared to other places in the world at this latitude with this weather, Costa Rica is very inexpensive. Compared to living in Hawaii or the Cayman Islands, we're probably a fifth of what it costs to live in those places. Compared to living in Southern California, maybe a tenth of what it costs to live in those places. But compared to some places in America or in Canada, if you're living, in Oklahoma, or you're living up in Edmonton or some of those places where it's very inexpensive to live, it might seem a little bit more expensive here. But remember, you're living somewhere where it's 90 degrees every single day. There's a beautiful ocean right out your front door. You're 20 minutes from an international airport, and you have all the amenities and infrastructure of a first world country. So overall, the cost to live here, I find to be very reasonable, especially when it comes to things like taxes and those types of things where, man, are we getting raked over the coals in the United States and Canada, especially the last few years. So I would say to anybody, come down and see for yourself. But also remember, when you're down here, if you're doing things that only foreigners do and tourists do, it's going to be more expensive. If you're shopping in the North American grocery store, it's going to be more expensive than in the local markets. If you're going out to dinner every single night at a restaurant on the beach or at a really nice hotel, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. But if you eat in the local restaurants, trust me, you can get an amazing lunch or dinner here for $5 or $10 that would be $50 or $80 back in the United States of America. So again, it also depends on your lifestyle, how you like to live. Do you run the air conditioning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Also, it depends on your lifestyle and how you like to live. Do you run the air conditioning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? You're going to probably have a little bit higher electric bill than those of us that open up the windows and the doors and enjoy the fresh air. Again, if you buy a brand spanking new car that's $50,000, yeah, the cost to insure that car is going to be more money than someone that comes down and buys a $20,000 used car and they're satisfied just driving around in a 5 or 6 year old Toyota 4Runner or Pathfinder or whatever it might be. So again, overall, I find Costa Rica to be a very reasonable place to live, expense-wise and costs-wise, especially when I compare it to places that I've lived before. I lived in Newport Beach and I lived in Boca Raton, Florida. Trust me, it's very inexpensive compared to those places. Thank you.